Hello, welcome to Scrap Time. My name's Christine, and this video is part of the Inky Backgrounds series, and we're going to be talking about mark making on acrylic paint. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is using acrylic paint on acrylic paint. That is your best. You're going to get the strongest color in that from it. You can't use water-based mediums on acrylic paint because acrylic paint has a plastic to it and it will resist water-based mediums. So when I'm making little marks such as these lines here, I like to use a heavy body acrylic paint because it will give you the most opaqueness and cover up what's underneath, and the mark will appear the most. So for all of these, I'm going to be using Dina Wakley's acrylic paints because they are heavy body. Now the other thing when talking about mark making is your brush. So you want to have a variety of brushes depending what you're going to do. I'm going to use this one here for making dots. And then for all my different line and little mark work, I have different brushes. So you can see by having different size brushes, you will get different size marks. And I like to use the flat brushes so I can do little lines and marks. I'm going to demo this after I show you my samples. So I'll just quickly go through some of these. On this one, because I had it just down the side, I decided just to do little marks following the line, and I did 3 rows because things always look good in odd numbers like 3s. If I just did 2, it'd be sort of missing it. You need the 3rd line, I find. This one, because we already had that line going down, I decided to follow the same line, but this time I did the marks this way. On this card, I did sort of tonal, whereas here I did contrasting color, the orange on the green and blue background. This is again tonal, just to show you I did marks going down the side here. Now I brought in some blue and did dots in the corner. Because this background's already really busy, I thought the dots would just sort of help blend in to the card. Here I brought in some white. Now my white was just the Liquitex Basic, so a lot of times I had to sort of make sure it was really thick because not being the heavy body paint, sometimes you can still see through it. But the white, I find, adds that little brightness it needed. Here again, I just added a few white lines there and then dashes down the side just to bring in a bit of lightness. This time I went with dots, and having little blobs of dots just adds, again, the brightness to the card. If you find you have a really solid dark background, by adding some white paint will really brighten it up. So this time I did lines again down the side. Here I did some of the blue dots, so it's sort of tonal. I find this background still needs some white, but all of these are works in progress. I haven't completed them. With this macrame background, I decided just to use some colored paint and paint in some of the markings. Here I brought in that dark blue that you see on this side just to help balance the piece. Here I thought the little white dashes down the side again added some brightness and sort of balanced out the lighter on this side. Here I did the contrast, this time the blue on the orange. I just brought some dots in using that same color. Again, I used the same color that was sort of on this side, and I used this larger brush, the larger one, to do little lines this time. So you get a different look depending on which brush you use. Just a few lines across the top. A few lines in the same tonal across here. And it's hard to see too, but there's even some of multi-medium in the line, so I'm doing sort of line on line. This one I had gessoed over, and so I need to start to bring in more color. So because the background was the green, I thought I'd start adding some green into it. And this was another one that I found was sort of dark, so by adding white dots, but I also want to show you that I had the texture paste here, and you can put like texture on top of your texture and add white. I put the white dots right over top of my texture paste, and then some more down here where it was just the paint. So I have a few cards I'm going to work on. Again, I'm going to use Dina's Heavy Body. I'm going to use Sky Blue. And you just need a little dot. You can always add more. So I'm going to use my round tip brush. And you put it in, and then you might want to take a little off. And then maybe I'll just do. So I'm not getting the perfect round dot, but just for little blobs of color. Can do that, and then I can add some more over here. And it's just starting to add another layer and texture to your projects. And just because, I'm going to put a bit more down here. Now, I've been putting up the videos just in the order I've sort of been working on things. However, it doesn't mean you can't go back. So even though I'm doing this now, you can go back later and say maybe add more texture paste over top. You don't have to do everything in the order that I'm posting the videos. So you can do this first and then do the texture paste, whatever you'd like. Okay, so here's another background, and this time I'm going to do a few lines. So I have this brush, and it's almost like a stenciling brush. So I'm going to do it here, and all I'm doing is dropping it on. So depending which brush you use for this will depend how long or how thick that line might be. And just like that, I'm going to put that one aside. And then for this one here, I'm going to do a thicker. So by bringing it down, then I'm making that thicker line. And so acrylic paint, as I said, will go over anything. There's multi-medium here. You can put it over your texture paste, over inks, acrylic paint, any medium we've used in this video. And then there's barely any left. I'm just going to swish it off. So that's 3 different ways you can use your acrylic paint. So I'm going to wipe this paint off, and then I'm going to move on. So another way you can add marks is with the Scribble sticks. The Scribble sticks work on top of acrylic. I have this sheet here I had done when we did the gel press. And so I've just been using my Scribble sticks to color in these circles. So you can see I can just doodle them on. So I think they're really fun for like doodling and adding that extra. Now there I'm doing it over the white so you can really see what's going on, but you can, they also work over the darker. You just need a darker and I can just doodle, and you can just have fun with them. Because they are a hard crayon, it gives you the ability to press down, have fun, and make all different markings. I like to turn a lot of circles into flowers. Sort of like that. So the scribble sticks are also great for adding little fun markings and doodles and stuff onto your project. You can also like do little circles if you wanted to add circles or X's. Lots of fun things. Okay. So I have another circle thing here, and down here you can see that I have used the Stabilo Acrylic. So these, as it says, will work on paper, glass, plastic, and metal, and so they work on acrylic. And both the white and the black work. So again, I can just, like as if I'm doing a little flower. They're fun to use together because the white will give it some of the highlight. So even if you doodle in the black, they come in a few other colors, but I just use the white and black. But the white can highlight those areas. I'm picking up some of my black now. If you're picking up, you can just pencil it off until it's white again. So these are really good. Now I looked, they're not available through Simon Says Stamp or scrapbook.com. However, I was able to find them on Amazon, and I put a link below the video to Amazon if you're looking to buy these. And then my final tool I'm going to show you is the Molotow acrylic markers. Now there's a few brands, but this is the brand I like to use, and I like to use the extra fine and fine tips. Now they also come in white, but when I went through my stash I realized I was out of the extra fine. But here you can see, this is if you want a bold. You can see how much that white shows up. Again, I like to use these together, but you want them to dry between each time you use it. But these are great because they're a lot bolder than the pencil, so it depends. If you don't want something this bold, then you use the pencils. But if you really want those markings to show up, it's really great. And then the fine one, you can get in with some really cute detail. And again, these Molotow markers I couldn't find on, like, say, scrapbook.com, but they were available through Amazon. You want to wait till the white, as I said, dries before putting the black over top. But I find this one's probably dry. Here, I can go back over here. I find by using the two together, it really makes it stand out. Just having that little bit of white showing. You can see there how the difference the white and black make together. And the different nibs. I would get both the white and the black in the two sizes, and you can doodle forever. So those are the Molotow markers. So that gives you 4 ways. We have the markers, which I think I put my hand in. We have the pencils. we have Scribble sticks, adding some fun doodly colors, and then of course acrylic paint. So by adding just these little markings, I think it brings, again, as I've been saying all along, more depth. The more layers you can add without detracting from the thing and just sort of blending in, adds more depth to your final project. So have fun making marks and adding to what you've made so far. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube. And for more Inky backgrounds, be sure to check out the Inky Background playlist.